conspiracy theories, the paranormal, UFOs, aliens, and all things strange and unusual. This is Black Lotus. Ooh, I scare you?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't the sound.
So today we're going to talk about some paranormal stuff that's going on in the news, some ghost news. And the first thing I want to talk about is that Walk of Fame cafe that's in San Antonio, Texas. But before we get into that, I just want to make a really quick announcement because this just happened. Yay! On our Facebook page, we've been officially rebranded from Pop Views to Black Lotus Media Productions. And so it finally happened, and I was so frustrated for a while, and I came out on the podcast movement page there, the group there, and and everybody's like, oh my God, well, this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do. And they were telling me that I needed to make a new page and merge them together and everything, and I was about to do that today when suddenly the notice finally came through, and after my appeal to Facebook. Because the
second appeal,
second appeal, and because initially I got this bot response saying that they wouldn't do it, and so I was very frustrated, to say the least. I was really pissed off at Facebook, and finally, apparently, a real human being got hold of the appeal, and they changed it today. So yay, we are officially rebranded to Black Lotus. So that's awesome.
Rest in peace, Pop Views.
Rest in peace, Pop Views. Yeah. But anyway, let's get on with this, man.
Yes.
So there is a restaurant in San Antonio, Texas, and it's owned by Joe and April Ward. And April Ward I found out she runs an online magazine called On Live. And they deal with music and stuff like that. And so the name of their cafe is called On Live Walk of Fame. And online Walk of Fame cafe. Right. And the whole thing is themed apparently toward like old 50s music and that kind of thing. And they have like music memorabilia all over the place.
Yeah, lots of records on the wall. They have Elvis impersonators coming in singing the whole bit.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I actually love to go visit the place. But anyway, so when they first bought it, they noticed, they had those stanchions, those theater ropes up toward the counter. And they were noticing when they came in the morning that they were always knocked over. And they couldn't figure it out. And her husband, Joe, April's husband, Joe, suggested that maybe an animal was getting in or something like that, but that was the only thing that was knocked over, though. So it seemed kind of strange. So what they did is they put up a surveillance camera.
We actually had one up. They just went and looked at the tape.
Oh, they did?
They did have one, yeah.
So anyway, they looked at it, and pretty interesting video. And it shows this figure going toward the ropes on the stanchion and knocking the thing over. So it freaked them both out, and so they shut down the cafe and they brought in a paranormal investigator to look into this. And so they did this kind of, I don't know, it seems like it would have been, the way it was described, it seemed like a half-assed seance, almost like one of those deals where the one of those ghost chaser shows,
right.
If you're here, knock or something like that. Well, anyway, so the paranormal investigator asked the spirit to identify itself. And apparently the spirit is the spirit of a little boy, 4-year-old little boy, and his name is Peter. And he also said that he had others with him, like 5 other ghosts with him. And so the paranormal investigator said, okay, well, you knocked over the stanchions. Can you do it again for us? And about a minute later, it happened. And so then he turned around and he says, if these people aren't welcome here, throw something across the room or break something to let us know that you don't like them being here. And nothing happened. So they decided, well, let's go ahead and reopen because obviously he's a friendly ghost and he doesn't mind us being here. And I think that that's kind of cool because they've reopened now with a kind of a paranormal theme. And they even have like $1 friendly ghost Coke floats. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah.
And I also understand that they've opened it up by request from the customers. They've opened it up so that people can spend the night there.
Oh,
That's kind of cool.
yeah, I heard that they were talking about it. So
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's the first thing I wanted to bring up because I think it's kind of a cool little story. I mean, besides the whole paranormal thing, I just think it's kind of cool that the ghosts totally accept him being there. They're just he's a 4-year-old little boy.
yeah, but
That's
you
what he's
makes
gonna
you
do.
wonder what the 5 of them are doing there.
Yeah, well, right.
There are
Well,
6 of them altogether.
the thing is that San Antonio is pretty well known for its paranormal activity. There's a lot of ghost sightings and experiences.
Right, this
there.
is supposedly right near where all that stuff happened, all the wars and stuff.
Right, exactly.
So they're
yeah.
thinking that it might have something to do with
It,
that.
could, it very well could be, yeah.
I wonder
So-
if we can look into records and see if there's a Peter and the other 5 names are actually somewhere listed somewhere, like from an orphanage or something. That would be interesting. to
could
research.
be, yeah. That's kind of an interesting thought. Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, most definitely. But anyway, let's also talk about that Circus Ringmaster that seems to be
That one's kind of
plaguing.
creepy to me.
It off the bat, let me just say, it sounds like we did that episode on the Hat Man,
Right.
and the Shadow People, and it sounds an awful lot like that. But in any case, there's this guy in West Sussex, England. He's a 37-year-old guy. His name's Ed Booker, and he had a kind of a cleansing of his house, and to get rid of evil spirits. And ever since he did it, he's had this apparition, I guess, for lack of a better term, apparition that has been stalking him and causing mayhem in his life. And this thing is like, well, what he's quoted as saying, it's a 7-foot tall circus ringmaster dressed all in black with a top hat and a shovel over his shoulder.
That
which
sounds
is
more like an
interesting.
Undertaker to me than a
Yeah,
Ringmaster.
yeah, it really kind of does. And apparently he'll grin at the guy, and he's got like rotting teeth. So I mean, it's interesting that he's able to see enough detail in the thing to be able to see that. Because a lot of people who witness the Hat Man can't really see a whole lot of
Facial features.
facial features or details. Yeah. The one thing I think we mentioned this in the other episode about the Hat Man is that he often carries a pocket watch with him, and people are able to see that. But yeah. So but anyway, yeah.
I guess they had an exorcism on the house, and that was successful. But now the ringmaster follows him around.
Yeah. And the guy claims that he's having a growing number of health issues, including depression, apparently. And there's a lot of he's witnessing a lot of paranormal occurrences around him now.
Even his window, I guess it had fogged up, and something wrote "die" on his window.
Die, yeah.
That would be kind of freaky to me.
I'm gonna leave a link on this and have you guys go to this news story about this. And they have pictures of that of the die thing on the window, and and other people that are around him have witnessed things like this, but they're saying that they're noticing a lot of weird shadows around the guy. So yeah, I mean, so
that sounds like shadow people.
It sounds like shadow people. It really does, yeah. But the guy has noticed this apparition at the foot of his bed, as people who witness shadow people do. And then he wakes up with scratch marks on his skin.
Yeah, I'm waking up with scratch marks on my skin. I'm getting out of the house, and I'm not going back.
Right?
Sorry.
No, I don't. Yeah, and even his girlfriend, who eventually left him over this, she was physically attacked by this thing and pinned down to the ground. So again, I don't blame her for leaving because
Can you imagine though losing your girlfriend? And why did you lose your girlfriend? Because a ghost is haunting you.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, you looked into the Toys R Us stuff.
Oh yeah. I liked the Toys R Us story because
I think it's a cute story. Actually,
it's not only cute; it's kind of creepy because it's happening at this place over and over again, and then excuse me, it was happening at that place in Sunnyvale over and over again, and now it's happening here at another Toys R Us.
Right.
So is it like a Toys R Us spirit now?
Well, let's talk about the one in Sunnyvale first, because that one is kind of creepy.
Well, in Sunnyvale, that started in 2007 when they opened.
This is Sunnyvale, California.
Sunnyvale, California,
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
I guess that they had opened it, and immediately they started hearing weird noises. They would hear people's names being called. Like, can you imagine being in a store by yourself or all the way at the end of the store and hearing somebody go real softly and whisper your name?
Yeah,
and there's
weird.
nobody around. They
Fun.
said things would fall off the shelves. They would be hearing footsteps throughout the whole place. The water would turn on and off. Doors would open and close by themselves. This was like a true big haunting.
Wow.
It got to the point where they actually ended up having a seance on it. And during the seance, there was a bunch of infrared pictures taken.
Okay.
And during in one of those pictures, you can actually see the spirit of a man leaning against a shelving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this man, supposedly his name is Johnny, and I guess he lost a loved one. And he's looking for his loved one, Elizabeth. And this is why he haunts the place.
Oh, really?
He fell in love with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth went off to marry a businessman, a very famous businessman.
Okay.
And he got very, very upset and was out chopping wood angry. Which, one thing I know, you never go out and chop wood angry. I've chopped wood before enough times, and living up in Oregon and stuff. And it's not a thing you want to do when you're mad.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous. Well, he found out how dangerous it was. I guess the axe slipped, and he cut himself and mortally wounded himself.
Okay.
And ended up dying.
Okay.
So now he haunts the place looking for the grounds, looking for it. And that's
So that's where he lived.
Right.
Is where the
it was
Toys
a
R Us was
plantation
built.
before Toys R Us was
Oh,
there.
it was really.
Right.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty freaky.
Huh.
There was even one time where they heard over their PA system, "The Lord giveth, the Lord take it away," in a really spooky voice. Yeah,
That's creepy as
that
hell.
would be creepy, especially knowing
Wow.
that there's nobody in the store and the place is locked up, and that you're all sitting in one place. Who's over there operating and saying it? If you're all right in that same room doing something,
No doubt.
So,
So initially that happened back in 2007, but
2007.
but you were telling me that this is continuing to.
Right, they actually did an investigation on it because it was still happening in 2010, 2013, 2015, and 2016.
Really?
Yeah, so they've done several investigations. Several shows have gone there. It just seems like this is one of the more legitimate ones, especially with that photo.
Yeah.
That photo is very, very strange.
And photos can always be manipulated, but this one looked pretty genuine to me.
Right, and it's a figure, and you see this bright light behind him. Now, with the type of camera and stuff that would be awfully hard to fake unless someone was actually standing there. And of course, it's their word that no one was standing there.
Well, right,
with
but
lighting, but
even still, I think the picture is pretty easy. Again, I'm going to drop a link for this news item as well, and so you can. And they have pictures. They have the picture.
It actually made it on That's Incredible.
Oh, did it really back
It
then?
was such a good picture. Yeah.
Wow.
That they actually they say this is the first legitimate picture of a ghost.
So
I've heard that before.
With Toys R Us in mind, there's a more recent news story that took place on the 4th of July this year. And radio host Rob Sparks, I suppose there's not much of a difference, from Mix 95.7 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He was on his way to go get something to eat in the evening, and he drove past a now closed Toys R Us, because Toys R Us is now closed up and all that. And he noticed some weird flashing lights inside the closed store, and he thought, well, that's weird, And so, he went on and he went to go get something to eat. And on his way back, I guess back to the station, he slowed down because he saw the lights were still flashing in a weird way. And what he saw was that apparently the checkout counters, with the cash registers,
Right.
they were all blinking intermittently and just kind of go on off the wall. So anyway, he's got a video of this. And again, I'll post another link for this on YouTube. And there's nothing really interesting about it, I suppose, but I'm betting it's the ghost of Jeffrey. I really am.
Well, I don't know about the ghost of Jeffrey. Maybe the ghost of what's his name, Lazar or whatever, the owner, the founder of Toys R Us.
Founder of Toys R Us, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I have to agree. It's not spectacular. It's like, ooh, look at that video. It's a bunch of flashing lights. But then you think about it. This is a closed store in the middle of the night on a 4th of July, which would not be open. No one's going to be working on the 4th of July.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know, everybody's closed on that. And it's a closed down store anyway. They're not, they might have been there maybe removing stuff and cleaning it up, but not on the 4th of July, especially at night. It's the middle of the night. So, yeah, it's kind of creepy to think. And the lights, it would take a lot of people or some wiring to make the lights do that.
Yeah, and really, what it comes down to is it could be just faulty wiring, and especially
it could be. But if someone was doing it, there would have to be so many people at so many switches to make it do that.
Yeah. And who knows? I mean, when they were closing down the store and cleaning the whole thing out, maybe some breaker was tripped or something like that, or a wire got crossed or something, you know. But I just thought it was kind of cute, actually, kind of a cute story. But. Anyway, is that all we're going to talk about today? Is that it? Okay. So anyway, again, we have been officially rebranded to Black Lotus Media Productions, and at YouTube, we're known as Black Lotus Videocast, and we have Black Lotus Podcast at Podbean. Check us out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us at YouTube and follow us at Podbean. We are starting to get some really good hits at our audio podcast place. iTunes, we're getting a lot of followers there. So
Great.
Yeah, keep it up. Thank you very much. And if you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe. And
help us rebuild our YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
Get our subscriptions back up again.
So anyway, until next time, keep thinking and question everything. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe and click that little bell so you can get a reminder every time we upload a new episode.